Hey everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review, building up to our main show of the week tomorrow, which will be our AEW Full Gear review. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for that. But in the meantime, Campo.Reviews and myself, the man who reviews movies, TV shows, and everything in between. We got a whole bunch of reviews, not just wrestling. There's a Marvels review, there's a Loki review. So go on to RLG Cast, check that out, show that some love, and then when you're done, come back here, throw a like on this video, show some love here, like, comment, share, subscribe. We're approaching the end of the year and we want to do more reviews for you next year. So make sure you let us know that you appreciate our hard work by letting us know with a thumbs up, a comment, anything to help that YouTube algorithm. Like I said, we're expanding. We're doing DDT. That's right, guys. We are doing our first DDT review today. I don't know how many more DDT reviews we'll do. We did this one only because there was a really good match where it was a really hyped up match between Jericho and Takeshita on this match. So on this card, so we decided this is a special match. It did feature a retirement. It did feature a few other things. So without further ado, let us get right into the card itself. This was a long card. The show itself was 6.5 hours long.
Yeah.
12 matches, including 2 pre-show matches. So we'll start with that.
There was a lot of things, though. Like, let's say, like, I know it wasn't like a straight 6.5 hour card, but I will have everybody know that as soon as matches were ending, the next matches immediately started. So there wasn't like space between the matches.
Except the retirement match.
And like, yeah, and then like there was a little intermission period, but like, it was a raw, almost 6 hour pay-per-view.
Yeah. It was long. The entrances do take a lot of time. They're very long.
One of them did, for sure.
Yeah. Which featured somebody who returns. So we'll get into that. So we'll start with the first of the 2 pre-show matches. Luckily, they were all on Wrestle Universe, so the whole card was on there. It is Masahiro Takanashi against Antonio Honda, who kind of reminds me of Nikolai Volkov a little bit, against the team called Romance Dawn, which is Soma Takao and Shota. This was for the KOD Tag Team Championship. Fun little match.
Yeah, it was fine.
It's the type of pre-show match that you want to get the crowd hyped up.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this was. Unlike, we were talking about yesterday's review on Lone Star Cafe there, or whatever it was called.
Lone Star Grill?
Lone Star Grill. I want some fajitas tonight. But those 2 pre-show matches did not get you into the show at all, where this one was kind of like, it was kind of comedic, but it had some good in-ring work to it as well. Very much like a Noah style pre-show, like when they trot out Mohammed Yone and that kind of like, they can go, but they're also like fun to watch kind of thing. So, but Romance Dawn retain their championships. So with that, the second pre-show match was kind of like a Royal Rumble type of match, like a Battle Royal type of match where 2 teams start off in the ring, and then every few minutes a team would come in. The teams featured were Burning, which was Yusuke Okada, not Kazuchika Okada. Burning is Okada, and Yuya Koroku against Damnation TA, which is Kanon and MJ Paul, Naruki Doi and Kazuma Sumi, and Toi Kojima and Yuki Ishida and Yuni and Rukia. I don't know who any of these people are, but they were fun.
Yeah.
This is, like I said, I'm new to DDT, so I don't know a lot of the characters. There were some characters on the show who I knew. Like later on in the show, we see our boy Mao.
Yeah, that's my guy.
That's our boy. But I mean, there are some other recognizable names on this show. But I'm still very fresh with DDT, so you have to forgive me on that. But this was another fun match. I like the concept of a Rumble tag match.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nothing like mind-blowing, but it was fine. It worked.
I also, the commentary on the show was not bad either.
No, it wasn't.
Like,
there was the one guy that was Japanese that was like trying to speak English that sometimes got confusing.
Yeah,
but the girl and the other guy were really good.
Yeah, I don't know who any of them are, but they were good. It was not Veda Scott. So Burning wins the match. They were saying that this may set up a future tag team championship match for them. So good for them. With that, our first match on the main card was Yuki Arai, Moka Miyamoto, and Shino Suzuki against Suzumi, Arisu Endo, and Wakana Uhera.
So
6-woman tag match.
Yuki Arai, I've become very like
Familiar with?
I've seen a few of her matches as I poke around on Wrestle Universe, and like I have
Yeah,
her
I've
on
seen a few of her
Instagram.
on Joshi and stuff like that.
She's pretty good. She's actually pretty good.
Yeah, she's still fairly new.
She's very similar to, we'll wait till we get there, someone who retires tonight. Both in look and style of wrestling.
Yeah, this is clearly the replacement, I guess, for her.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what
which is
good.
That's fine.
This is what you want to do, though, right? You want to replace your outgoing talent with someone younger and fresher that can fill in that role.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like take an example from WWE. You have John Cena for 25 years in WWE, and now you have nobody that fills that void in that main event. There's no main, because you weren't able to build up anybody. There's nobody in that main event picture right now that can.
Well, because you constantly had him beating everybody, which is what you're doing with Roman Reigns right now, which is going to leave you another hole when Roman Reigns leaves and there's nobody to replace him.
Yeah. But digressing, this is a fun, like it was a very Joshi style match. Thoroughly enjoyable. And like you said, Yuki Arai, the girl they're pushing on this, is the one who gets the win on this match. So with that, we are going to our next match, which is an 8-man tag team, a Dogeza match. Dogeza is the Japanese form of like apologizing, where you go down on your hands and knees and put your face down to show like submission, respect to your elders, to your boss, or that's what Dogeza is.
It's like the deepest form of apology.
Yes, exactly. I think if you're familiar with Toru Yano, he does that a lot in his matches. He's like always going down, sumimasen. He's always doing that. Okay. Gomennasai. Yeah. But it was the team of Sanshiro Takagi, not Shingo, and Akito, Makoto Oshii, and Shinshiro Kawamatsu against Super Sasadengo Machine, Danshoku Dino, and Yoshiko and Yoshitatsu. Yoshitatsu is a former WWE talent as well. Yoshitatsu was in WWE for a while. And Yoshiko is a doll.
That is true. Just like this match got kind of gay and not
a lot
like
of ass.
Yeah, I don't know. They gay is such a use, like a joke. Like we talked about in our last review.
It's a form of comedy to them.
It's weird for me because, like I said, I'm not someone who should be speaking on it. And I wasn't necessarily, as a human being, offended by what was happening, but you could clearly tell it was kind of awkward that the whole basis of this joke was just gay.
Yeah.
And it seemed like so normal to everybody else.
Where the crowd was like laughing along. They were like, you know what I mean?
It was like, oh, okay. I mean, and I did happen to watch a clip from another DDT match, which I won't get into. That involved one man humping another man for.
It's what's his name? Well, we get more of this later in the show too. We get a return of Deshoku in the Takahashi match, and we do get a return of the doll a couple times too.
But that was super funny. The doll in both of those situations in the Cardona match, like
it worked.
Was so good. Where oh my god, I'll wait till we get there. We'll wait. But
it's like there's one point where they pulled down one guy's pants, and I think it's Sasadango Machine he grabs the camera guy, and he's like trying to get him to film right in the ass. Like
DDT is something else.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you that the rating may not reflect the way we're expressing how we enjoyed it, but I think it's because
the rating also has to do with the quality of in-ring work,
and the in-ring work wasn't like bad or anything, but I just think the comedy of this is like really funny. Like a lot
it's
of
absurd, but it's funny.
You have to slowly get into it though, because like I said, at first as like a North American, it's very awkward because you're not used to them, especially nowadays, just something being gay as the entire basis of the joke of
you're canceled. You're done.
Yeah,
you're done.
And it's like, it's not so much that situation was funny. It's the way that they let it play out that gets funny, because it just keeps building and building. And it's like, you're like, which literally leads
So
to
as I'm watching this, Ange walks in the room. She's like, "What the hell are you watching?"
yeah, because it's just like odd, man. It's
Like
so odd.
this is the worst time to come in to see what I'm like. You know
But
what I
that's
mean?
always listen. That's literally the internet joke. Whenever someone walks into the room and you're watching wrestling, it's like the stupidest fucking thing that's on the screen.
Absolutely, it is. But it was fun. I think the doll gets the win in this match, doesn't he?
Yeah, I
Because
think
what's his
so.
name? What's his name? Apologized. Kawamatsu was like he's the one who apologized, and that's how the match was
The
over.
one guy that they didn't expect to be the one who apologizes is the one who apologized.
Yeah, because
And
they were
also, there
showing
was a guy who wrestled this match in a full suit. I just want to point that out.
yes, and another guy who took off his pants and wrestled the rest of the match in a thong.
It was like Doki Doki Lawyer Club. What's that thing called? The lawyer.
Phoenix, right?
Yeah, that's like what he looked like to the
Phoenix
Doki Doki Lawyer Club.
Doki Doki Lawyer Club. So with that, we're gonna go into our third match on the main card. It's Takeshi Masada against Kuroshido Tokyo, Japan. For those who aren't familiar, I didn't know who this was. Then I saw him come out, and it was Ikemen Jiro from WWE. He's back in Japan.
Yep.
And he received the hero's welcome in Japan to the point
Good.
where he did his entrance twice.
Excellent.
A la John Moxley.
Loved
But
it.
it was fun. Like the crowd was super into him. Like they were happy because he was in Dragon Gate and Wrestle One, I believe. He did some stuff with DDT, but it's like they knew who he was, and they were like, whenever somebody comes back from the US to Japan, it's like a hero. Like when Kenta came back.
The environment of Japanese wrestling is so much more fulfilling as a fan than watching WWE and AEW. As big as the pops get in those companies, it's just it hits different in Japan because they're in it the whole way. A 6-hour pay-per-view, they're in it the whole way.
The whole day. Yeah, the whole way. Exactly. And it was fun. It was a fun little match. Jiro gets the win. We've seen Masada.
And this was in Ryogoku, right?
Was it Ryogoku?
It was in one of the bigger events.
Yeah, it was in the Ryogoku, yeah.
And for a DDT, like there was a lot of people there for DDT.
They almost had 5,000 people in it.
Now, DDT, if you've ever watched it, they do like shows in parking lots. like when they do their hardcore episodes, like where it's all like the exploding stuff, they do it in like a parking garage.
Yeah. Yeah. We did get a lot of that on this show, but like I said, Tokyo, Japan, Ikemen Jiro, whatever you want to call him now, he gets the win. Fun match. Like at this point, I'm invested in this show.
Yeah, me too.
And at this point, we're already like almost 2 hours in. But it did not feel like it was 2 hours.
That's true.
So with that, we are going to our next match, 6-man tag team match, a group called the Voodoo Murders, Jun Saito, Rei Saito, and Toshizo against Harashima, Yukio Naya, and Japanese legend himself, Jun Akiyama.
Oh, this is the Saito brothers who was in this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen the Saito brothers in, I think
Twice.
we've seen them in that All-Star New Japan,
All-Star, and then they had a match, I think, in the Noah and Thing crossover.
Yes.
They showed up for something in that.
Yeah. So we've seen them before, and everybody, if whoever's familiar with Japanese wrestling over the last 30 years know who Jun Akiyama is.
Yeah.
There's no
you know what? He looks a lot different than a year ago when I saw him wrestle Eddie Kingston.
Yes.
He looks like he lost a lot of weight.
And he got rid of the hair too. He got rid of that last little bit of hair he had.
He was holding on to that the Keiji Muto hair.
Yeah, but now he actually kind of looks like Keiji Muto now with the shaved head.
I think he really looked like him when he was in AEW for those couple matches. But Jun Akiyama legend.
Yeah,
literal legend.
And this was a really good match. Right away, the way Naya came into the ring, the way they portrayed him,
he looks so silly though.
Yes,
like he looks like the red version of BDSM guy from what's his name?
Yes, from they were part of.
I never remember his name.
Yeah, I know which guy you're talking about. The guy with the leather and
with the leather straps.
Yeah. He does, yeah. Red version of him, mixed with a little Tanahashi, mixed with a little
Tanahashi, yeah.
Yeah. with a little, and throw in a little what's his name, Kiyomiya in there too.
You know what? He also kind of looks a little bit in the face like that guy from All Japan that was part of the main event. I can't remember his name. Listen, there's too many names now.
There's too many names to remember. There's too many shows, too much too much to remember. But yeah, you're right. And Akiyama and Naya and Harashima get the win. Naya gets the pinfall. And even by not knowing Noah, I know the characters and the gimmicks they're pushing, as opposed to, you know what I mean? It's easy to follow.
I get it. And I like that they're building that rivalry between those two and the Saito brothers.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a tag team match because they're
I think it will.
Yeah. So with that, we are going to get into our next match, our fifth match on the show, on the main card. Tetsuya Endo against Daisuke Sasaki. First thing I thought, Sasaki looks like Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh my God.
He does.
You're so stupid. Oh yeah, he kind of does.
But it was a good match. Like, I mean, Endo is one of the guys they were talking about joining, like that their version of the G1, the N1, that the Grand Prix, what they call it.
Yeah.
And Sasaki is a bit of a legend in DDT. He's been around a while. He's been in Japan, like back and forth, different promotions. I think he was in All Japan for a little bit. But he's known as like this, I guess, not hardcore, but like a vicious type of and it showed. Like this match, he was absolutely brutal. There was one really cool spot though with Endo. They set up the table on the outside, and he does this 450 splash from the top corner to the outside through the table. And it's like, it was an interesting, fun match, but I enjoyed the match too. Like, it's everything
they catch you off guard.
Nothing stood out, but everything was enjoyable up until this point.
I think so too. And it's like, dude, this is gonna happen again, where it's like they play up this comedy whole shtick thing, and then they hit you with like some really hard hitting stuff, and you're like, okay, where's this coming from? And like, I think that's a big thing, right? It's not bad, but there's a lot of pacing issues with this show.
Yeah,
it's like the tone of the show is all
heavy.
over the place.
Yeah, it's very gimmick heavy. If I got to compare anything to WWE, I think I would compare the gimmickiness of this show to a WWE show. It's very
to like Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, but Sasaki goes over with he chokes him out basically. They called it a knockout because he literally passed out.
Yeah.
So, but it was good. So with that, our sixth match on the main card, we get the members of a group called Eruption, which is their 6-person tag team champion, of Yukio Sakaguchi, Hideki Okatani, and Saki Akai. This was Akai's retirement match. So they did like this little thing.
Hold on, wait, did we already pass the match where the guy never got in the ring?
Yeah, we did. It was the Voodoo Murders. The Toshizo never got in the ring.
No, it wasn't a tag team match. It was 1-on-1. There was that guy who just never wanted to get. Every time the guy threw him in the ring, he would just roll out to the other side.
I remember that. Because all that's left there's 4 matches left, and I don't think.
What's the next match?
Takahashi.
Okay, so we passed it. It's the one where the guy had the white leather jacket on, and he walked around in the crowd.
Oh,
that was the John Moxley guy, right?
Yeah, that was the John. That was
the.
That just was like, Endo.
I was totally zoned out there for a second, but that was
that match. That was that
thing of the whole night.
That was the 8-person tag match with the blow up doll, and
no, it wasn't.
No,
it was 1-on-1. It was a guy who looked exactly like, oh my God, whose face is Chris Jericho?
You're thinking Ike Manjiro then?
Oh, is that what it was? There
was one guy with a white jacket and one with a black jacket.
Yeah. And the one guy looked exactly like Takeshita. And I even had to look it up because I thought they were brothers or something. Yeah. And then the other guy, that was the funniest part of the whole night. I'm sorry. It just, I zoned out when we were talking about it.
Yeah, but that's fine. So this was Saki Akai's retirement match, and they were facing Kazusada Higuchi, Marufuji, and Mio Yamashishita. We have Marufuji and Yamashishita on the same card on the same team. He didn't hear me,
We
but I
did.
said we had Marufuji
I took my
and,
thing off
and
so I could hear.
Yamashita. Yeah, Marufuji and Yamashita on the same card on the same team. Like this was fantastic. This is the part where I was saying yesterday where I got a little uncomfortable with Marufuji and Higuchi kind of just like beating the tar out of Akai.
Oh, I loved it.
But it worked well. It worked well.
It told a story of like her being resilient.
Yeah, it did. It did. And then in the end to her for her to come back from it as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like it told the fantastic, and Marufuji works so well. We're not used to seeing Marufuji as like a serious heel. Marufuji worked really well as the heel in this.
I mean, I think there was a lot of. First of all, they dished out more than a few things. We never even talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
They dished out quite a bit of money for sure on licensing music because Gwen Stefani
Yes.
is her song, and I didn't know that's always been her song.
Yeah.
Also earlier they had Led Zeppelin is somebody's song. Somebody's walkout song was Led Zeppelin.
Okay, I think DDT though, they're such under the radar promotion that I don't think.
But these are pay-per-views. You think they would do that?
I don't know.
These aren't like little house shows. This is like a big event.
Because licensing a Zeppelin song, I Gwen Stefani I can understand, but licensing a Zeppelin song, that's expensive.
Yeah.
Zeppelin doesn't just allow their music to be.
I don't know. Anyways, back to where we were.
But yeah. But other than that, this was such a good match. Kai gets this fantastic comeback. We get a good spot between Yamashita and Akai going at each other. Eventually, Yamashita goes over. She gets the pin over Akai. But, you do the honors on the way out, right? Like, that's what you do.
And I like that because for a bit, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, they're going to let her win. I'm like, I don't understand why why should she win? Nobody wins on their way out. And then she lost. And I was like, okay. And it was in a good way. Like the last little bit of that match was so good. They're not even on the same team.
No.
And they look at each other and they go, get out of the ring. And they let the two ladies finish it off. And they, instead of interfering, because her team wanted to stop Yamashita from beating the crap out of
Akai.
Akai. I was gonna say Arai. That's the other girl.
Yeah.
But like they're like, no, just let it happen. And they got out of the ring and they let it happen, and it was like it was a good payoff.
It was.
And then it was followed by a really nice ceremony after.
Yeah, they were
all crying.
Yeah, they were. They came into the ring. Even Marufuji was teary-eyed in this. They all showed their respect to Akai. Like she's done a lot. Like for 10, 12 years, whatever she's been loyal to that promotion. She's been their number one female star in that promotion. She was like,
her in-ring work was very good. Just like for I believe she's like 38.
I think so. Yeah, something like that.
But for usually, and this is like sounds worse than I mean it, but usually in women's wrestling, by 38, you're done.
Yeah, she's 36, but still, yeah.
Yeah, but like she was like really going, not like half-assing it. Like it was like full.
Yeah, bore. because before the match started, they were showing the press conference, and like it's her, and she's like wearing this beautiful evening gown, and she's all done up. I'm like, this is the same wrestler, right? Like it's
I know, I get it, and
they know what they're doing.
Very big. She's very popular.
Yeah, but and then, like you said, there was a beautiful little ceremony, flower presentation. The president of DDT comes out. He, gives his respect to her. And then we get a little video package. We get Tanahashi talking about what she's meant to Japanese women's wrestling. Not only that, a guy I forgot was still part of New Japan was Toge Makabe.
Yeah.
Where has he been?
To me, though, it was kind of weird that you had two New Japan guys and then obviously the founder of DDT. But
Tenryu, yeah.
You didn't have like anyone else. There was no all Japan legend or like, you know what I mean? You telling me Masahiro Chono or like Muda didn't have something to say about this? You just had Makabe come on. Like, I don't know what his correlation to her is.
Yeah, I don't know either, but yeah, it was weird to see Toge Makabe. but whatever. But it was good. It was it was nice. It was it was very respectful. It was very. It was. I would put this in one of the feel good moments of the year.
Yeah, definitely.
I would put it. So with that, we are going to get into our first of four main events. That's how they were breaking this down. This was a multi-stipulation match for the Iron Man Heavyweight Championship. Hiromu Takahashi was defending against Kazuki Hirata, not Hayata, Hirata.
Yeah, I made that mistake.
It was a weird match. Like there was they had to press a button and choose the stipulation after every 5 minutes or something.
I loved it because every single time it was about to hit hardcore like death match, it will just skip over to the next thing. And Takahashi was getting so mad because he kept wanting it to just land on death match, and it kept going to like the gayest choice possible.
Like there was the first one was the music match. You had to like dance
he did get at the end death match, but it was a dancing death match, which he wasn't happy about. Then he got even more upset when he found it was a 55-minute time limit.
But yeah, the first and then the second one was like a handicap match where they bring back out Yoshihiko, the blow up doll.
They don't like each other. They have history together.
Yes, but oh my god, when he goes for the pin and he lets the blow up doll kick out at one, like the selling on that was like I just started.
I don't know, it was a time bomb, right? He hit it with the time bomb and
he hit her with the time bomb and the time bomb too, and kicks out both times.
And on a one.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But that was so funny. And then like
it's also a side of Takahashi we don't see very much.
And he likes to do comedy wrestling.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really get the opportunity. New Japan is a little bit more serious than any of the other promotions. But yeah, it was fun, and I think the ending of it was hilarious.
There was a blindfold bra match where you had to remove the guy.
I forgot about that. They have to the guy was trying to describe what it meant. He's like, they have to cover their eyes and their nipples. And then after he's like, no, they have to wear bras. For like 2 minutes talking about how they cover their nipples. And we're like, what are they talking about?
But yet Takahashi is so like barrel chested that he couldn't even get it across.
It was so funny, so stupid.
And then there was, like you said, there was it jumped on it.
There was the point where they almost kissed, which was like out of nowhere.
That was a dancing death.
Dancing death. No,
match.
it wasn't the death match. It was dancing something.
It was a regular dancing match.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. But it
the erotic
on dancing, and he was getting
the
so
erotic
mad.
music. Yeah.
Yeah. But the match ends. Let me tell them how it ends.
Yes.
So after Takahashi wins the match, he lies down on the floor with his New Japan Junior Heavyweight belt, and he puts it over his chest, and when he's lying down, the ref just gets on the man and starts counting. And then the New Japan Junior Heavyweight Championship won the DDT Heavy Metalweight Championship, which then he takes the Hayara. What is it?
Yeah, Hirata.
Hirata takes the belt out of his hands, throws it on the floor, pins it, and then he wins the belt.
And Takahashi's just like looking at it like, what the? Just
it was so good though. And then the other guy came out from earlier.
That was
Takahashi.
Dinio.
And they just kiss and they don't stop kissing, and they walk
out
all the way back out of the thing. And it doesn't make any sense.
No. Absolutely ridiculous.
I think that's what was the best part of it, is that last like 5 minutes didn't make any sense, and it was so funny because it made no sense. You're like, why is any of this happening?
Why is he kissing him? Why is he out here to kiss him? Like,
and then they didn't stop kissing; they just kept walking the whole time. And you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, is absolutely ridiculous, but it was great. So it was this, like, it's so, but they also explained, like, okay, you know what, we each have our own company's respective belts now, let's defend these belts, you know, the way we know how, kind of thing. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. So our second of four main events is Matt Cardona defending the DDT Universal Championship against our boy Mao.
Well, this match was really good. Like, actually,
we saw
really
Mao in that, was it the Junior All-Stars, the one Rocky Romero put on? And we also saw him in the Junior. There was another match. We saw him in a couple matches back to back this year.
Yeah.
But
he was something.
Yeah, but Mao is something else. Mao is something special. Mao was also in the what's it called? The Multiverse 2.
Oh yeah, Multiverse 2.
He was with he had a match with Mike Bailey, and there's another Mike Bailey match that was
Wow, they're all good.
Yeah, but this was another good match. Steph Delander, who is Cardona's valet, I guess, manager.
They're a tag team. They're a
Yeah,
mixed
they are a
tag
tag. Yeah, they are a mixed gender tag team. Yes, and I find, even though he's still married to Chelsea Green, I find these two work better as a heel group.
I mean, I've never seen him work with Chelsea Green, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I imagine the three of them would work really good together.
Yeah.
But she adds a lot to it, and Matt Cardona's really good. Like, he's super underappreciated in the grand scope, but he's
another one. He's another one who was a joke in WWE, got himself over with his own belt with the internet champion or whatever.
And I love how he's living. This is how I like wrestling. This is how I respect wrestlers, is people that are like, I would rather have this legendary career and then just get paid to sit in WWE and do nothing.
Yeah. And he's literally taken on the moniker of Indie God.
And I love it. He dresses up like Indiana Jones.
Yeah. But I like the skull mask.
The skull mask. He's just Indie God. And he was the Universal DDT champion. He no longer is. But
our boy Mao is the winner.
There was good interference in this match. There was some fun stuff. I like those using those clear
plastic bins.
Like the
those
way that
things
it
are
looks
sharp.
They break and stuff looks so cool.
Yeah. We get a returning Yoshihiko.
And the best part of this match was Yoshihiko was dressed as the referee.
Yes, because we get a ref bump and the ref gets knocked out.
Mao goes for a count. He's the one counting. He's like 1, 2, and then kicks out, and he starts yelling at him like, "Dude, you're the one doing the thing."
And then at one point though, Steph grabs the Yoshihiko and she does the 1, 2, 3, but it's not over. Why didn't that count? I couldn't understand.
I loved how she did it. She could have just went 1, 2, 3, but she like purposely like did a slow count and was like not even realized like you're the one doing it. Like, but the Mao was so good.
She's like yelling at him. That was 3. That was 3.
The Maoan was the best one though. He's like 1, 2, and then he's like 2. Like, what do you mean 2?
Like, it's just the ridiculousness of this show. Like, it's going to give it a little higher score than what it's going to reflect, but it was so much fun.
I think it's, for me, I'm going to give a lower score than what I'm sounding like I'm going to give, but but it was just fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of this that's just like overly long,
ridiculous. Yeah,
I know some of it's really ridiculous, but like it's like it felt long. I'm not going to pretend like it didn't. It felt really long.
We're at about 5 hours into the match with 2 matches still left to go.
No. The last match starts with 5 hours and 3 minutes on the clock.
That's what I said. We're at 5. The last match starts.
Yeah, there's 5 minutes. There was 5 hours and 3 minutes on the clock.
Okay. So with that, we're going to go into our next match. This is the one we were looking forward to. This is the one we decided to review this show in particular. This may be our first, this may be our only DDT match we review, but Konosuke Takeshita against Chris Jericho.
This match was fantastic.
And the announcers made a point. They're saying, can you believe that this man is 53 years old? Jericho's running around the ring like a man 2/3 his age. Like, he's running around like a guy in his prime, in his early to mid 30s.
And it's like, this is the difference for me. You can say WWE is this and AEW is that, and like, they neuter people in WWE and AEW is way more like physical. But when you watch them in this, they did something completely different. Okay. And the fact that Chris Jericho has the ability to do stuff like this match wasn't booked or planned out like a North American match. It felt like a Japanese match. 100%.
Just the hard hitting. This was very a blend of like the King's Road and Strong Style, like a blend of the two. Like this was the first, I would call, serious match on the card.
And you could see it as it's happening. Like, and to watch Chris Jericho still have the get up and go to wrestle this kind of match at 53, I was like, wow, because he put it all out there. He was jumping off the top rope. He was jumping to the outside. He took a few huge spots. And I don't know if you noticed, the mats were like this wide on the outside. Yeah. It was like an old New Japan match, like from the 90s.
And I was looking into perspective too. 20 years ago, when Ric Flair was 53, he was not putting on the quality matches that Jericho is putting on at his age.
But you know how we often will send each other clips, like I do with a lot of people, but you're like, oh, look, Hogan in Japan. Look how much of a different match it was. That's like how this felt. It was not like Chris Jericho that you watch
on AEW.
Yeah. It was like a serious match. Like Takeshita was really good in this match too. I think the outcome was the wrong choice.
Yeah, Jericho goes over in this match.
But
he didn't need to. Jericho, the loss wouldn't hurt him. And the win would mean so much more. Sorry to cut you off, but the win would mean so much more for Takeshita.
It would, 100%. But I do think, and this is like, I don't like to be this guy because I love Chris Jericho and I think he's really good for the industry and I think he does a lot of good for the young wrestlers. But I do think he's still a guy that says, if you want me to come here, I'm going over. And I kind of feel like that's what happened.
This, I think, will lead to a Jericho versus Takeshita in the US where Takeshita soundly beats him.
And I
because it's gonna be in front of a larger audience and it's gonna mean more.
And it's gonna be in front of Jericho's company where that's gonna help the company. I think for this match, he said to them, "You want me to fly to Japan? I'm gonna win this match." You know,
we'll put on a fantastic match, but I'm winning,
and it was good. And I just like for me, they love Jericho. They sang the song louder than AEW sings the song, and it just felt they were cheering "Let's Go Jericho" for like the longest time. No one was cheering for Takeshita at all.
Even though he's a DDT guy.
I know, and that's why I thought for sure they would put him over. But I think they made the right choice in the sense of selling tickets. I just think in wrestling story-wise, it was probably not the best idea for Jericho to win.
Yeah. But with that, we are going into our main event of the evening. It is Chris Brooks defending the KOD Openweight Championship against Yuki Ueno.
Never seen either of these guys wrestle.
But oh my God, I love them.
What a good match. Yeah. What a good match. Like, so good. And they're supposed to be like best friends. But Chris Brooks is not even part of their group.
No,
which I found that strange. How are they best friends if he's not even part of the stable?
Yeah. I guess they've been friends from like a different pre the stable, right?
I guess, yeah. But
because Chris Brooks has been around a little longer. Chris Brooks is in his like mid-30s right now.
Yeah, he reminds the title not too long ago.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of. He's a blend between both Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley.
I agree, and he kind of reminded me of the Drew McIntyre light guy. What the hell's his name? Hugh Morris's son.
Jack Morris.
He kind of had a lot of Jack Morris like style of wrestling to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. The table spot was really good. The moonsault off the top of the entrance.
Yes. Like they were doing some pretty crazy moves. Like it was, like I said, this was also the second, like out of all the matches on the show, this was the 10th match, part of the main card. But the last two matches were serious. All jokes aside, the last two matches were like, they knew these two matches had to be serious because they were the main event.
I think the main titles, the tag, the universal, like I mean, the universal match had jokes in it, but the general match was a serious actual match. There just was a comedy involved. I think those big titles are serious. Yes. I think that it's the other matches are there. There's half the roster is joke people and half the roster is like serious people.
Yeah.
And you could see where they land because the jokey stuff was in the non-title stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Because like the tag with the Saito brothers, that was a serious match.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Jun Akiyama's not effing around.
No, he don't mess around.
Like I'm a big fan right here of this. And then to find they have what's his name goes over.
Yes, he is your new Ueno.
What the hell's his name?
Ueno.
And he's now their main champion, the open weight KOD champion, and the universal champion is Mao, who's in his group. So those are the top two titles.
So they're building that faction up a little bit more.
Yeah. And apparently the other two guys are a tag team, so they might win the tag teams and then they'll have everything.
Yeah, they're trying to do a 5-guy story over here, maybe.
I mean, you want to keep this is how I see this company, right? It's DDT is not somewhere where people stay. DDT is somewhere where you either
cut your teeth.
You cut your teeth and then you move on, or you come back as an older wrestler to like have your final days run out here. Because they probably
kind of like what Jun Akiyama's doing.
Yeah, they pay enough to you for those big names.
It's still under the Amoeba brand, right? So it's still it's the same ownership company, so they got the TV money to throw around.
You can do it, right? And DDT is not a small promotion. They're like bigger than an Impact, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think so. The one thing I was surprised now that we've gone through all the matches, no Maki Ito on the show. I was expecting Maki Ito on the show.
We also didn't get Yuka Sakazaki.
Mm.
I mean, those are like their 5 big wrestlers: Akai, Arai, Yamashita,
Sakazaki,
Sakazaki, and Ito are like the big 5. And then there's the raccoon girl. I can never remember what her name is.
But yeah, I mean, it was a fun show. It had me thoroughly entertained. In ring, it kept me interested enough. I think personally, this show was much better than the one we reviewed yesterday on Lone Star Cafe. Lone Star Shootout. But I mean, what would you grade this show?
A 7.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I gave it a 7.1. It's right in the middle. Like, it had me entertained enough. Just some of the ridiculousness. It was so fun, but there was really nothing I was invested in, I guess, except a couple matches.
I really just, yeah, like you said, I think the general vibe of the show is very fun and entertaining. And then the good stuff was really good, but it just felt overly long. I think the retirement was actually quite special, and I'm glad that we watched this. We didn't even know this was going to happen on this show. I saw
it was a happy coincidence
on Instagram and thought, oh, there's something else happening in DDT. Maybe we should watch this one. And it just so happened that it was part of this event, right?
Yeah.
But I think for the size of the event was number one. For the fact that the match was a huge match, and that for 3 that the ramifications of what happened here would bleed into AEW, I thought we have to watch this show, right?
And the fact that Jericho on the show, right?
And Jericho versus Takeshita is not a small match. That is a very big match.
That's why it was the co-main event. I think at this point now, how many different organizations has Chris Jericho wrestled for?
A lot. I'd like to see him go to Noah.
Like, he's done what? He started in CMLL. He was ECW. Then he went to WCW. Then he went to WWE. He stayed with WWE for a while, but then he also did New Japan. And then he went back. He did New Japan a couple times. Now he's in AEW. And now he's like doing the tour. I think this could be the Jericho retirement tour.
Not yet.
You think what? I could see Jericho going till his 60s.
I for sure he's not retiring next year.
No.
Sure. Maybe 2025, but not next year.
Well, when would mark an anniversary, like a big anniversary in wrestling for him?
I don't know, because this is 33 years.
This is 33 years. Maybe at 40 years he'll he's
40
got
years is far. Maybe 35.
I think he can go to 60.
I think so.
If Sting can go to 60,
go to 60.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see, but I do think that maybe we'll be lucky girls this year, and he'll show up at the New Year's event for Noah, and then immediately be there as well for Wrestle Kingdom. Maybe it's him and Kenny versus 2 people in Japan.
Yeah, all depends on what happens. Tune in tomorrow because there's a match. Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, the Golden Jets, against the Young Bucks. If the Bucks win, they have to disband. But if the Golden Jets win, they get the Bucks Tag Team Championship shot.
And which I think is going to happen.
Yeah. But so tune in tomorrow for the AEW Full Gear review. I think if Putty shows up on time, he'll join us too.
He'll show up.
He'll show up? All right. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Here we thought we were going to have 2 quick reviews. It ended up taking 2 hours of our day, but we will send it out because we love you guys so much and we love the support that you show for us. So we keep putting out these reviews, doing new reviews on DDT now, we're going to expand our reach in 2024. So I can't do that without your support. So please let people know about this channel. Share this channel. If you love wrestling, let all your wrestling fans know about this channel to help us grow. We're looking to hit 500 in 2024. So let's try to get that going. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. And in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.